The first, the government is opposed to denationalization strongly. Second, what the government is strongly opposed to is denationalization. The third, it is denationalization that the government is opposed to. Next, and a word and lexical semantic has internal structure. There is a root morpheme plus derivational and or inflectional morpheme. For example, there is a government has a root morpheme govern as a um, as a verb plus derivational supplement become new word government a noun. Then word ordering has a root morpheme order as a verb plus derivational fix re and suffix ing become a new word reordering as a verb. A word strongly has a root morpheme strong as adjective plus derivational suffix become a new word strongly as a verb. Denationalization has a root morpheme nation as noun. Derivational prefix the plus suffix nation become noun. Grammatical words are said to have no root morpheme. Jadi dalam grammatical word itu tidak memiliki akar morfem, contohnya on, a, or, the, of. Next.
You are so right, Dina.
At this point, it is necessary to be somewhat more precise about what a word. Finer distinctions are possible, but for our purposes, it will be sufficient to distinguish word form and length. There are two words in a lexical semantic, phonological and or graphically distinct shape. Ya, jadi ini adalah bentuk kata yang beda fonologi atau grafis. Contohnya, for example, talk dapat dibentuk menjadi present talks or present continuous talking, simple past tense talk. And the lexeme can be a grouping of one or more verb forms which are indicated by the root and or derivational affixes. Two characteristic lexeme, magically and semantically distinct autonomous unit. For example, it can stand alone because it in a root morpheme. So, lex di sini diartikan sebagai pengelompokan satu atau lebih bentuk kata. Atau dapat diartikan lexeme ini adalah kata dasar dari berbagai bentuk kata. Ya, karakteristiknya yang pertama adalah lexeme ini dapat berdiri sendiri karena memiliki akar morfemnya kata bank, mall, swimming. Yang kedua adalah inflection from bank the same root count as the same lexeme. Jadi berkembang berdasarkan jumlah akar yang sama, yang sama. For example, contohnya run, ran, and running berasal dari lexeme yang sama, yaitu kan. Next. Lexical and grammatical. Grammatical semantic studies aspects of which have direct relevancy to syntax. We divide grammatical unit into closed set item and open set item. Jika dalam lexical meaning mempelajari makna yang atau makna dalam kamus, maka grammatical meaning ini mempelajari aspek atau memiliki relevansi dengan sintaksis. Maksudnya grammatical meaning itu mengkaji satuan makna kata yang diperoleh karena ada gramatikal seperti afiksasi, reduplikasi, dan bentuk kata. Dalam gramatikal ini terdapat dua bentuk, yaitu closed set item dan open set. Di closed set item have characteristic, memiliki karakteristik. The first, they belong to small substitution set, as small as one. Jadi ini closed set item itu kata dalam perangkat substitusi kecil. Maksudnya ini katanya itu terbatas dan tidak pernah diperluas. Kemudian yang kedua, the principal function is the grammatical structure of sentences. Jadi fungsi utamanya itu untuk mengartikulasikan struktur tata bahasa. And the third, they are at relatively slow rate through time, so that single speaker is unlikely to see lots of item in their lifetime. No new tense for the determiner have appeared in English for long. In other words, the inventory of item in closet grammatical category is effective fixed. For example, di dalam closet item ini kata tidak terdapat bentuk baru. Perkembangannya itu relatif lambat. Jadi tidak ada kata muncul dalam bahasa Inggris di waktu yang lama. Karena itu terbatas dan tidak pernah diperluas. Contohnya seperti kata the, of, and next, that item have the following characteristic. The first belong to relatively large substitution, especially if semantic plausibility ignored. Jadi berbeda dengan closet item, item ini termasuk dalam set substitusi yang relatif besar. And second, there is relatively turnover in membership of substitution classes, and a seeker is likely to encounter many losses and give single lifetime. Think of the creation of words, relative travel or computing in recent years. Jadi di sini itu berbeda dengan closet yang tidak ada atau tidak ada bentuk kata baru. Dalam terdapat perkembangan kata baru sesuai perkembangan zaman. Contohnya, development in computer technology. Perkembangan teknologi terdapat new noun, kata baru seperti internet, website, email, new verb atau kata kerja yang baru seperti download. And the third function is to carry the meaning of a sentence. Utamanya adalah membawa makna kalimat. Oke, next. Lexical semantics by and large the study of the meaning of content word and is oriented principally to the contribution of a set item make to this, and the grammatic concentrate on the meaning of closet item. I think that's enough for me. Next will be delivered Miss Adina.
Okay, so we've talked about what is lexical semantics and everything that has been explained by him. Yeah. So moving on, what are the functions of lexical semantics? So there are four that we will cover. So the most obvious function of lexical semantics is to describe what words mean. Memberikan gambaran atau ide mengenai arti yang tersirat atau tersurat dalam sebuah kata. And then next, the function is contextual variation, to describe how the meaning of can vary from one context to another. To characterize the meaning of a word, we have to look at the context. And there are single words that can have different meanings. So for example, here we have the word light. The first example is, I can carry this because it is light. So that's bag is not heavy, so I can carry it. Then the second example is, it's dark in here. Could you turn on the lights? Lights in this context means and one is sense relations and structure in the lexicon. So it is to describe word meanings are related and how they contrast. So there are different words, but they can have the same context. There are words like good, fine, excellent, or great. So when we are asked by, how are you? We can answer with these words, depending on our condition that, and it's actually the same meaning, but it's different in the degree of feeling. You know, maybe when you're feeling well enough, you can answer, I'm fine, thank you. Or maybe if you're feeling better than fine, we answer with, I'm good. Or maybe either we can answer with great or excellent. So this, but there's also a difference to the word. And the fourth one is word meaning and syntactic properties. It is to describe the and idiomatic properties of words. For example, there are that doesn't mean literally, for example, feet. It doesn't mean like your feet are cold, but it's actually to describe that we are being nervous right now. And there are a lot of approaches to lexical semantics. We will talk about 6 approaches to lexical semantics, which will explain about how different theories have different arguments about lexical semantics. So the first one is there's a one level versus several approaches. Jadi di sini para penulis mencoba membagi makna secara dan secara encyclic. Kalau semantics atau linguistic meaning artinya adalah secara harafiah atau secara literal atau yang mengacu ke kamus. Sedangkan encyclopedic meaning adalah kata-kata punya makna yang menyeluruh gitu, konsep world knowledge. Jadi ada yang di one level approach ini para teori kata bahwa there is no evidence that linguistic meaning different in nature from encyclopedic meaning. All conceptual and grammar carries meaning to separate linguistic meaning and encyclopedic meaning. And whereas the two level theories stated that there's a difference between linguistic and other non-linguistic or encyclopedic meaning. Of course, linguistic meaning is much simpler in terms of semantic features. There needs to be a differ between linguistic meaning and encyclopedic meaning. And the next one is monosemic versus polysemic approaches. So the of monosemic approach stated that para teorisi menganggap bahwa yang di monosemic ini mereka berpendapat bahwa pemaknaan satu lebih baik dilekatkan dengan satu makna saja. Jadi tadi buat list maknanya dalam beberapa konteks. Sometimes are words, the same words, it can have different meanings depending on the context. And the monosemic theory stated that we just attach one meaning for a single word. Their contextual meanings are not necessary to be included. Maybe it can be left to the readers on how they will interpret it according to the context. Whereas the polysemic approach is stated that the primary meaning should be retained, but other related meanings should also be grafted onto the word. Jadi jangan cuman satu kata, jangan cuman dibataskan untuk satu makna saja, tapi juga harus dielaborasi dengan berbagai makna sesuai dengan berbagai konteks yang bisa dipakai. Nah, contohnya di sini head. Head ini kan kalau secara awam head itu kepala gitu. Tapi kalau misalkan secara konteks dipakai di kantor, head ini kan bisa dimaknakan sebagai manajer atau direktur, bos gitu. Ya. Chief atau kalau misalnya di sekolah, kepala sekolah, atau misalkan sebagai dokumen head title-nya gitu. Atau secara adalah untuk yang maju lebih dahulu gitu, seperti itu. Okay, and then there's also the componential approach. Jadi kalau theories of componential approach ini berkata bahwa word meanings are of features. Jadi pemaknaan sebuah kata ini diberikan makna sesuai dengan karakter dari katanya gitu. Jadi dibikin klasifikasinya. Di sini kami memberikan contoh sebuah snack dari Bandung. Alhamdulillah udah buka puasa ya, jadi lapar harusnya. So this is an example of how componential analysis is being made. So you're like me, I was confused about the difference of cimol, cilor, and cireng. What are the difference? They are all made of the same ingredients. This is just an example. So we classify about the features of the item. So whether is it round shape or not, or is it egg? We eggs in it, or is it? Do we put sauce in it? So for example number 1, cilok, it's round shape, but it's not. So it's given the plus sign, that round shape. And then next, is it fried? It's not fried, so it's a negative sign to it. Is it egg? Negative sign on it. And then is it given sauce? Put positive sign of it. So all of these items are being classified according to the features of object. So that's how this componential approach are being made. So this is like some. Okay, so next there is a kalau componential approach itu tadi kan makna sesuai dengan fitur dari kata tersebut dibagi secara komponensial gitu ya. Kalau holistic approach ini mencoba mengambil makna secara kontekstual, jadi secara menyeluruh. Nah, dalam approach dalam pendekatan holistik ada 2 theories yang ternama, yaitu dan Lyons. Yang menurut Hess tidak ada perbedaan antara linguistic meaning atau word meaning dengan encyclopedic meaning. Sedangkan Lyons pendapat bahwa sebuah makna ini relatif gitu. It is relational. Okay, next. The 5th one is there's a conceptual approach. So this approach is really deeper than the other approach because related to psycholinguistic as well. We will need help from Bu Oom to to elaborate more about concept approach, it's actually not giving, but not grammatically or encyclopedic. It's about our person. It's the bigger picture of the word. It's very wide. And then the last one is approach. So it is trying to explain human language in terms of objectivists. It is a formal logic approach. So your kind attention, friends, hopefully some insights to lexical semantics. Thank you. Is there any question?
You were so good, Adina. I am so sleepy.
Yes, well, I was actually looking at you and I think she feels sleepy.
Okay, but I think it is quite clear all the explanation if you read your handbook about language meaning. I think the group is very well about the presentation. But if you have something to discuss, please go ahead. You can do Adina dan temannya. I forgot the name.
Bu Fauzi.
So I will continue my sleep.
Not only you,
Okay.
but me too.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's quite clear because if you read, so but
Yeah.
maybe you have something to discuss. Okay, you try to discuss it. Do not forget that a week after our holiday of Lebaran, you will pass your exam. Meet
Yes.
about this one, semantics.
So about
Especially the subject that we here in your presentation. It's about 5 subjects or 4. You are the 4th or the 5th, Ibu Adina?
The fifth.
The 5th. So the 5
subjects.
subject for the. Okay, do you have to discuss? Please go ahead. Or do you want to do your taraweh?
Bu, boleh Bu.
Oke, boleh Pak. Dina, there is question from Pak Kan.
Ibu Adina, saya ingin bertanya sedikit. Dalam polisemi itu dapat dua arti yang berbeda. Yang satu misal berarti konotatif, itu berarti denotatif seperti itu. Terima kasih.
Ini ada loh di pelajaran SMP atau polisemi. Bahasa Inggris maksudnya. Mbak Dina, could you please go the previous?
Okay. Thank you for the question, Mr. Freddy. So you're asking about polysemic, where there are 2 meanings to word. Is that correct?
Yeah, but the meaning about connotative.
Yeah. Satu ini bisa berarti 2 makna gitu, Bu. Maksudnya dalam makna yang berbeda. Yang satu misal artinya konotasi, yang satu artinya denotasi. Tapi mungkin di sini saya tadi tidak membaca bahwa ternyata ada di sini ternyata, Bu ya. Alhamdulillah, jadi ternyata saya ada head itu, iya benar baik. lewat
Yeah, as I told Bapak Ibu, as I told you, the group have explained quite clear. So I think there's nothing to discuss.
Read again. That's it.
Yeah, it's crystal already. But if you have something to discuss, please go ahead. If not, it's okay, but fine by me. Because it's it's clear. Otherwise, if I talk, it will be a repetition from what Ibu Adina and Ibu Rosia have explained. Kayaknya sudah jelas kalau saya lihat dari slide awal sampai slide yang ini. Karena kalau saya nerangin akan mengulang-ulang lagi.
Ya udah.
Dan ini jangan salah, ini Bapak Ibu ada ada masukan dari beberapa mahasiswa saya di sebelum ini. Katanya ada saya lupa apakah di SMP atau SMA bagaimana mengajarkan polisemi, bagaimana mengajarkan monosemi, katanya di mata pelajaran apa gitu di bahasa Inggris di SMP apa SMA gitu. Jadi Bapak Ibu yang memang harus explore ini untuk memberikan contoh-contoh lain ke murid, mungkin begitu. Ya, sudah saya nggak tahu. Menurut saya ini sudah cukup jelas. Tapi kalaupun belum jelas, saya nggak tahu Anda semua pada diam ataukah sedang karena tidak berusaha mudik Lebaran atau sebentar lagi Lebaran coming soon. Atau belum, saya nggak tahu. Tapi semuanya pada diam. Sampai Pak Fedi juga bertanya yang sudah ada, akhirnya Pak Fedi lihat sendiri, oh ya udah ada, saking udah jelas.
Jelas sekali Bu, very clear.
Itu dia Kristo, makanya kayaknya sudah gitu.
Crystal clear.
Ada yang ditanyakan? Kalau tidak ada, tidak apa-apa, tidak memaksakan harus sampai habis. Ini bonus hari ini kita sebentar saja.
Alhamdulillah.
Absen Ibu.
Thank you Ibu.
Sama-sama.
Thank you Bu.
Thank you very
Saya
much.
umumkan sekali lagi ya.
Gimana Bu?
Ini sudah saya absen, tadi sudah saya lihat. Nah, biasa itu sikanya sedang ngedrop, ulang balik. Saya absen manual dari nama-nama yang ada di sini. Kenapa?
Selamat Idul Fitri Bu.
Oh iya, sama-sama Ibu Adina, could you please for
sorry.
presentation? Thank you.
Thank you everyone.
Bapak Ibu, kalau nggak salah tanggal 29 atau tanggal berapa ya?
28 mulai ke tes.
Saya nggak tahu semantik ke bagian hari
Iya,
apa, tapi ya Ibu tinggal mengerjakan saja, nampaknya sesuaikan waktunya. Jadi sebelum UTS hari ini kita kuliah terakhir, minggu depan itu sudah libur dan minggu depannya ada ujian ya. Untuk itu saya mohon maaf sebesar-besarnya kalau kesalahan dan segala macam. Mohon maaf.
Sama-sama Ibu.
Salam
Lebaran juga.
keluarga. I hope you have a great time for your holiday of Lebaran. You have to stay at home, tapi tetap yang penting bahagia. Oke, Bapak Ibu, terima kasih banyak untuk seluruh keluarga. Salam selamat Lebaran. Salam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Stay healthy.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you.
Thank you very